Welcome to Mission Possible, delivering cleaner fuel today. Brought to you by CEMA, Connecticut Energy Marketers Association, representing 600 family-run home heating fuel companies in Connecticut and the greater New England region. Today's episode was recorded live from the Southern New England Energy Conference in Newport, Rhode Island, and highlights how our members are delivering a cleaner, greener fuel today. So let me introduce our guest for this week, Mr. Peter Russell with Santa Energy in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Did I get all that right, Peter?
You certainly did, Shelly. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you so much for being here. So, first of all, let's start with a background of your company. Tell us a little bit about your company's history.
Sure. Our company is 84 years old at this point, and it was started by my grandparents, Stephen and Madeline Santa. And when they started it in 1941, my grandfather was a little bit older at the time. He had been working at a gas station and was offered a kerosene route. So he took that kerosene route on, and on that first day delivered about 900 gallons of kerosene. He was paying the truck back, a cent or so per gallon. And that was our start. Where our offices are today, if we go back a little bit more in history, my grandfather, prior to being at the gas station, worked at the bulk terminal that we have now. He left there because they asked him to be terminal manager, and he was afraid of heights, so could not climb to the top of the tanks to do the daily inventory, which is part of the job. So, but it's always interesting as we talk back through the history of Santa with customers and people we meet that, the family grew up right where the company is based today. My grandfather grew up on one side of the railroad tracks, and my grandmother grew up on the other side of the railroad tracks, but they were both within, a stone's throw of where the office is today. So it's a kind of neat piece of history that we have being local.
In such deep roots in the community that you serve. So you're not someone flying in to take change or to take over a company. You know the people that you're serving. You have deep roots there. And this is something I'm hearing over and over from our 600 members under the CEMA, Connecticut Energy Marketers Association umbrella. Deep roots in the community. And that does mean something, doesn't it? Tell me about the people that you serve.
Oh, very much. The communities that we serve are important to us, that we live in these communities. We work with the people in the communities. We support the programs, the schools, the Little League teams, the, plays and the Rotary clubs that are out there, that we support all the communities that we serve. Our customers, local to us, we look at them, they look at us, and what we're there for is to solve problems. We tell our employees we serve our customers, fill cap to chimney cap. So it's more than just delivering heating oil or propane to them. We're there for their comfort in their home, and that goes with the heating, the cooling, the pricing, to making sure they can budget, to finding ways to be more efficient, to be more green. And nowadays we get into everything from generators to pool heaters to solar systems. So you really do live up to that fill cap, the chimney cap. And we tell others.
Such a wide range of services that you offer. More specifically, let's take a deeper dive into the heating fuel sector, because the change in the industry has really been phenomenal and something that most people don't realize. So, from what I understand, more than 50% of the people in Connecticut use home heating fuel. So, if you're one of those people, you're already making a difference to lower your carbon footprint and lower greenhouse gas emissions by using our product. And why is that? Talk a little bit about the history of how you have evolved your business and changing it into a greener trajectory.
Sure. As you say, the heating oil is the predominant fuel that's heating the homes in Connecticut today. So people have the systems in their house, the storage tanks that go along with it. And yes, everyone knows there's a need to be more green, to reduce our carbon footprints. And we have through biofuels, been able to deliver on that and offer our customers a solution that gets them to be greener without having to spend thousands of dollars to change out their whole systems, which is, key and something that we need to, as a company and as a organization, get out there and promote to our customers, because all the other solutions, which may or may not be solutions, as we know, a few years back, the state pushed natural gas as the solution of the future, and it turned out to be that it isn't the solution of the future. So, with the heating oil, that we put a bio component in there, it really does reduce the carbon footprint of the house and uh, allows the customer to be green without having a lot of out of pocket expense to be green.
And explain that biofuels. What does that mean in your own words?
Sure. Bio is natural products into the oil, so such as soybean oil, or it could be as simple as, used cooking grease, that it is blended with the fuel, generally up to a B20 or a 20% bio to traditional heating fuel mixture. You go back years and years ago, and we all know diesel, and Rudolph Diesel, who invented the diesel engine, did it on peanut oil. So biofuels are not something that are new to the world of this industry. They've always been here, but in with recently trying to be more green that we need to have in the world today, it has brought it back into the picture that we can blend this with our fuels and reduce the carbon footprint.
And biodiesel is blended with with home heating oil, but the oil itself has also changed. That's what a lot of people, it's not the same oil that your grandparents used, or depending on your age, your great grandparents' parents. It's changed dramatically, that product in and of itself. So talk a little bit about the home heating oil, and then we can take a deeper dive into the biodiesel.
Sure. Yes, the heating oil itself is more stable, it's more clean, it's an ultra low sulfur product today, so there's very few emissions from it. We know that years ago that, every house needed a service ball once a year for a no heat, because the filter nozzle strainer were going to get clogged. It wasn't that anybody got bad oil or had a bad company that serviced them. It was just the oil wasn't as pure as it is today. Today, there's very little soot that's produced as part of the combustion process. And the equipment, because there is less soot building up in the equipment, it's much more efficient. And what we have are customers burning less fuel per year, which is great for them because it reduces their and total expense to heat the home.
Well, and it reduces maintenance. It's a cleaner product. And then it's also blended with biodiesel. And you touched on that. And in some of the previous podcasts in the industry, it's called, B5, B20. And what that means is the percentage of biodiesel that is mixed into the heating fuel together, making the biofuel. So biodiesel, this is what I find interesting. If you're going to like a baseball game in Connecticut and Hartford, without naming names, or you're down in your area at an arena, grabbing a burger and a dog, chances are the used cooking oil grease from that hot dog or hamburger you're eating at the game is being used to make biodiesel right here in Connecticut. It's something that otherwise would have ended up in a landfill, but we are repurposing it. It's something that we do not advise anyone to do at home. It is done through a scientific process. Actually, one of the largest biodiesel manufacturers is right here in New Haven. So we're also helping to contribute to the local economy. So biodiesel, it's really fascinating because it takes used cooking oil, soybean waste byproducts, and it turns it into a renewable fuel that is mixed with our ultra low sulfur heating oil that produces the biofuel. And I think it's important to really dig deep on this so that people do understand. Listen, this is the home heating fuel industry talking about how we're changing our carbon footprint. A lot of people don't realize that. There's misperceptions, there's stereotypes, bias considering, the fossil fuel industry. Here in Connecticut, specifically New England, it's completely different. We have changed the way we do business, and that must make you proud and your customers happy about it, correct?
Oh, certainly. It's everything that you said, and it is something that we can be proud of, that we can get behind because, look, like it or not, you know, global warming seems to be a thing. We don't have as many degree days winter as we used to. So, we know as an industry things are getting warmer, and here it is that there is a product available that we as an industry have all started to use. And again, you get back to the homeowner, the customer, they don't have to change their tank, they don't have to change their equipment. They go about living their lives as they do with no additional expense, and they have this product. There's so many things out there today that we look to, help with certain things. Oh, I want to be solar, I want to be this. It's all very expensive to do. And I think one of the beauties of what we are doing, it's a solution without added expense. So which means that everybody can be part of it, whether it's the low income communities or the high income communities. They're the same in this equation. It's not that we're cutting out one group of people over the other. This is the fuel that we deliver to your home, and it is great for the homeowners, it's great for the environment, and it'll be here for a long time.
Well, and I think when it comes to green energy, people are used to like, okay, how much is this going to cost? What's the check I gotta cut? Like, if you wanna electrify your home, there's an expense, right? So, perhaps that's why a lot of people don't quite understand how the fuel in your home heating oil tank has changed because there isn't an added expense. There's no expensive upgrades. It's something that can be done is being done right now, as you said. So that's part of the reason why we really want to tell this story is so that everybody understands the product that we deliver, how it's changing and how it impacts them. It means a cleaner home. It means, less residue. You were saying it's a cleaner burning, not like from the days of old where there were service calls every year. So I think that's the proof, right? That's part of the proof. And this blend will be increasing dramatically over the next decade. So some of our home heating fuel companies, and these are all locally owned dealers, by the way, some are using B5, that's 5% blend. Some are up to 20. But pretty soon, within the next decade, I believe we're going to be at a 50% biodiesel blend. That is something to be very excited about and to applaud.
It certainly is. And the beauty of it is there could be a day that is B100. So no, fossil fuels in it. You are burning something that's natural and pure, that is renewable. So, it'll take time to get there as processes get better and better. The equipment is tested for this. It is certainly the equipment manufacturers back and are testing this all the time. But yeah, we can dream and see of a day where that B50 or even greater percentages come up that, we're a natural fuel, more natural fuel in your tank than there is traditional petroleum in your tank.
And this must make you very excited about the future.
Yes, very much. I mean, I see a bright future for us. In the end of the day, people are still going to need to heat their homes economically. We are still going to be part of it. And there are solutions that are out there. And our customers, 84 years again being in business, our customers look for us to provide the input and the help in determining what is best for them in their homes. So we do look forward to the future. We're very excited for it. We have fourth generation Santas coming on board. So, we're very bullish on the future that we will be here and we'll be supporting homeowners in our service area.
So, of course, that's all very exciting. Anything concern you?
The labor market always concerns you. There are technicians that are needed for the job, drivers for the job, and it's not always easy to find the people you need to fill those roles. We are somewhat of a seasonal business. We try to keep drivers busy in the summertime so you don't lose them. But finding the help is probably our main concern. The costs of insurance and electricity and those things, healthcare, that's a universal concern, whether you're in our business or any other business. But the backbone of what we do and why customers really like and appreciate it is the employees that we have, the technician that they actually invite into their home. They're really our only employee that they see eye to eye, but this is someone that comes in their front door and is in their home. So that needs to be a special person. And we look for some certain qualities in those guys. And we've got a great team of them. They keep developing apprentices so that we have, a future in those guys. But harder and harder to find it. And again, drivers get to be tough because they're very busy for a good number of months, and then reheating degree days dry up, and we're looking for work for those guys. So that's probably our main concern.
And you talked about this personal connection that your employees do have with your customers. What do your customers mean to you? Any stories that you'd like to share of, I don't know, any of your customers that might stick out?
We probably have more stories than we have time, but our customers, they're more like our friends because we do serve these people for so many years, and they build relationships, whether it's with the customer service agent who comes in the door, or takes their call, or the tech or the driver. I know that we've got a driver who he knows that there's a older woman on his delivery route, and I find that he stops by the corner store, gets her a loaf of bread and drops it off at her house. It's nobody asked him to do this, nobody does it. He does it out of his own, that's who he is as a person. How did he get there? It's because he is the quality type person I have. Energy assistance for the elderly is something that, those people need to stay in their homes. And I have a great woman, Shannon, who, personally takes care of these elderly people and make sure they get the energy assistance so they can afford to heat their home. And it has to be, 5 times a year, I get one of these customers asking to speak to me, and they're just in tears because they appreciate how Shannon has helped them. There's so many customers out there that the Martin Rose of the world and Elaine Thomases and Dr. George, who it seems like often they call you just to find out how you're doing because we haven't delivered in a couple months because it's summertime. They have a relationship with us. They know the people. So we focus on that at Santa, and we, work with our employees that, the customer focus is important, do the right thing and deliver excellence. And, then we can go on with stories, but, I've had feedback on drivers who know that it's an elderly person and their walkway wasn't shoveled, and they saw a shovel there. So they, stop their route and shoveled the little walkway, and they go on their way. It's,
Wow.
we are in the people business. While it's, we're delivering fuel and service, as believe I said earlier, we're here to solve problems. And that's what Santa does.
Well, I will say I've heard so many stories from you and other members about how much they do care about the community and how much they help. But man, you have a driver picking up a loaf of bread. You've got another one shoveling the sidewalk. That truly is touching. It's more than just delivering the fuel. It's they care. And without, you know, coming too harsh on the utilities, which will leave nameless. I just don't see that happening on that side. I don't.
It does.
Do they even know who you are? I'm not so sure. And This last summer was quite a shock, no pun intended, when we all opened up our electric bills. And, part of CEMA's mission is to promote our members, which you all deserve. You do amazing hard work, but also to defend it. And when you see electric rates and bills that are almost unaffordable, what happens if they're the only choice or the only game in town? It's not good. So thank you for sharing your stories. Thank you for telling us about how your business model has changed and what you're doing right now to make a difference. And I think it's important to get that message out there. So thank you, Peter. Anything else you want to say? Any final thoughts?
No, it was great to spend this time with you, Shelly. We appreciate it. We do need as an industry to get word out there about the bio and all the wonderful things we were doing because, as you just mentioned, the utilities have deeper pockets than we do, and they can get their message out there a little bit louder. So we need to work harder, but I think we have a better message. We're doing great things, and the future really is within our product.
And it's right. And we're changing not in 10, 20 years. We're doing it now. And that's also important. And we're doing this because we want to. And we want to make the world a better place for our children, our grandchildren. And one last thing, the home heating fuel industry really in Connecticut and New England is completely different than elsewhere, right? I mean, you're retailers, you're selling the product that is best for your customers. So again, thank you so much, Peter, for taking the time. This has been a fascinating um, conversation with you. And please let me know next time someone's shoveling a walkway or something. I'd love to really tell that story in depth as well because you deserve it. So thank you.
Will do. Thank you, Shelley.
Thank
Have
you.
a great day.
You too.
And thank you for listening to Mission Possible. Be sure to tune in next time to hear more stories on how our members are making a difference. We'll see you then.